Now sports with Chris Dewar from the University of Illinois Sports Desk.
Some 18 months ago, Clark County High School celebrated one of its most accomplished alums with a district-wide assembly to welcome home the voice of Oklahoma State sports. Even against the backdrop of a now 20-year career lending voice to the best in Division I football and basketball, it was still a singularly indelible moment for Dave Hunziker.
Here you go, David.
As far as emotional days in my career, and we've had some cool things happen here, that probably was number one as far as career days. Because I had not been back to the high school on a school day, and had a chance to spend time with Ella Worsig, who unfortunately passed away a few months later, who was a huge influence on me as a high school kid in drama and English, and just having a chance to interact with the kids at the high school and the junior high, and to, if nothing else, let them know whatever it is you want to do, you can get there from Cahokia, you can get there from Revere, you can get there from Carthage or Camp Point or Payson or Shelbina or anywhere else. And it was just so fulfilling. My brother finally had to drag me out of there. He's like, look, it's going to snow. We got to get to Ames. We got to leave. Finally, at 2:30, we left, and we drove through a blizzard the last hour. He said, I told you we needed to leave. I said, I couldn't leave. It was too much fun.
Your community has a very sort of specific mindset and persona of who you are. How much of that has parlayed into your success?
Enormous, huge. And when I say that, I think there's two things. First, as is the case of all of that area of your viewing area, is the work ethic that goes with being around people who farming is a primary way of living, or working in a factory at, whether it's Keokuk, Quincy, Fort Madison, wherever it is. Work ethic is everything. You, as Mr. Pickens used to say, you eat what you kill. Whatever you work for is what you get. So that's what Boone Pickens said. It's pretty accurate. And then second of all, the kindness factor, the genuinely caring about your neighbor and your friends, and watching out for people and caring about people and checking on people, friendliness and kindness that again goes back to growing up in a small town and to growing up in Northeast Missouri. It's just part of who people are in Clark County and everywhere in that part of the world. It was huge. It's one of the reasons I think it's worked so well for me here. I always told people in Northwest Oklahoma, in the Woodward, Oklahoma area, when we go on fundraising events, I just feel like I just went home.
As much as success is inherent in you, it owes a lot to a lot of people, doesn't it?
It does. And one of the things I talk about, I teach a class here at Oklahoma State in sports broadcasting. You're building your brand to sell. And what does that brand look like? And it needs to not only be about work, but about relationships. And there's so many people that come along that help you and are willing to help you, and you don't realize until you're older how valuable that can be. There have been so many, starting with KMEM, and people I ran across at Missouri, whether it was Kevin Harlan or Tom Dorr, and the list just goes on and on. Bob Davis at Kansas, I would have never in my wildest dreams thought in 1989, driving to do Rockbridge, Sedalia Smith Cotton while I was in Columbia, that I'd be doing games in the Big 12 and Bob Davis would become a very good friend. Was lucky enough to have that happen, but Bob helped me when I was at Radford. He listened to my work and said, hey, work on this and do that, and then just keep doing what you're doing. And then it's funny, I'll tell this story. We're playing Kansas in 2004 with the Big 12 title on the line in Lawrence. Bob walks up to say hi, and he said, oh, I brought you something. He pulls out the audition tapes from 1995 from Radford, from a game on the exact same day, and says, you never know when you might need a good audition tape.
Dave is a fascinating and, as you can tell, very proud Tri-State alum, and we'll have much more with him coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. That's it for me. More news and weather coming up after this.